All right, so I guess we shall get started. Nobody's here. I'm still just going to go through. We're following the MDN 2D breakout game using phaser tutorial, except this tutorial uses phaser 2, so we're converting this pardon me, to phaser 3, and we are using modular design. So this all the code is not just in one HTML file, which we'll have more things going on in a bit here. But so at the moment we are on step 12 in the tutorial, win the game. So this is going to be a little different. Frankly, it's going to be simpler. So we have, there's a fair amount of code here for this. I've now got a write-up written up over here. So let's see. With this, I can refer to that. Should I? I don't know if I should. Let's see. If this count active, I don't know what the argument in there is for. I haven't used phaser that much, so I've still have plenty to learn. Okay, so I still don't know what it's for. But so if there's no bricks active, then I think this is pretty simple. All it's saying is just do alert. I'm having trouble spelling it. One problem with these GitHub gists that I used in this article is you can't copy the code. Oh, I guess you can. Well, anyway. So location reload, that's just going to reload the page. So it'll create a little dialog box that says that, and then it'll reload the page. I think that's it. So we can go ahead and this second tab, because of the streaming, is a little annoying. So we can go ahead and see that. I don't know if I'll actually be able to produce that result. That's a little time consuming. I may not. This is sort of a silly step to it in because I have to break every brick. Actually, just realizing since I don't have any extra lives, that means I can't lose. I won't get it done. But I started, so it's something I've observed, at least about myself, when I start playing this, is I kind of can't stop. It's hard to stop. I don't know why. Okay, so they're great. Got the alert. So that is step 12. Some of these steps are not as long as other ones. So, so this is going to be about making multiple lives. So let's see. I'm going to go to my thing here. Let's just take a look at how they're saying to do it. First of all, they're using ES5 var. One issue I have when they're doing this stuff is they're not really telling you where that code goes. So those would be global variables on the scene file, I guess, or whatever. They're saying make global variables. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a couple variables. But so, okay. Okay, we're going to make the score label. Wait, we already... What am I doing? Oh, okay, this is lives label. Sorry, there's another discussion happening in the house, and my brain is just picking up on part of that. Sometimes it makes it hard to concentrate. If only I had something loud in my ears. I don't know. I'm just going to copy this code. This isn't really super crazy. This is pretty similar to our code for the score label. The only difference, so we have our constructor format lives similar to the format score. Constructor puts everything in place, and then set lives, that's we're going to use that when we're initializing the label to set the lives equal to, well, actually that'll be done through the constructor when we create it. And then instead of having a add score, we just have a static command remove life that sets the lives one less. And then also, if the lives is less than one, then this method will return true, which allows us to use it as a test for game over conditions. So we'll save that and we'll come back into the game scene. Right, I'm just trying to briefly read what I wrote to see if I'm missing any explanations. Right, so we're going to go ahead and put the label into the scene. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and import the lives label. Okay. Then we're going to need a property on the scene object. We'll make it in the constructor. Lives label defined. And then let's make a create lives label under the create score label. Lives label, and I think this is just going to be X, Y, and lives. I'm going to copy the style from the score label because it's going to be the same. And then the constructor for the lives label is going to be pretty similar. I'm having trouble typing. And I did it verbatim, which is not right. Okay. Okay, fine. So did I? Figure out if I forgot to include the starting lives variable, or if I did it below in the tutorial. I made them all in one day, so it was kind of like getting a little crazy. So this lives label, did I really misspell that? I misspelled it here. Okay. No. Let me go double check and copy my the values I put for the position for it. Oh, I did put the state variables in here, and there will be a delay that also is related to how long we pause between the ball going off the bottom of the screen, thus losing a life and starting again. Just gives the player a little chance to recover and reorient before throwing it back out. Okay, so that should be good. And then I just, okay, 148. Got it. Well, I'm going to double check my values from the other thing. This doesn't make sense to me how I'm positioning it. I may have changed it. Trying to check the positioning of the score label because they should have the same. Okay, 8. They should have the same y coordinate. Otherwise, it's going to be weird. So I'm going to change this. I don't know how I ended up with 5 and 5. And then the final argument should be this. Starting lives. That should give us the score label. Let me see if I did anything else with this code. I did some of the earlier steps in the articles that I wrote. I kind of put too much in one thing. Oh yeah, so I did create the lives label, and then I also went over additional code in detect bounds. Let me see what detect bounds has now. Okay, so all it has is geez. So what we're gonna do is remove a life. Actually, I'll copy this and then let's go over what each line is doing. So we call remove life on lives label, and as we can recall, if that goes below 0, it'll return a true. So we store that value in. Is that below there? Okay, so I'll copy that in a second. So if game over is true, that means the lives was below 0. Then we reset the ball in paddle position, pause the physics, call a method that'll resume the physics after a delay, and if the game is over, then we'll go back to what we were doing before, which is, send the alert message and reload the page. Okay, so now we need. I like to keep this detect bounds method on the bottom of the file, but I still feel like this overall is too large. But this is pretty simple. All this does is set the position similar to where we set it in the create methods, just the middle of the canvas widthwise, and then height minus 25, and then the paddle, we're just keeping its position where it's at. Okay. Then we just need this resume game method and everything will be in there. I really should have split that into like 2 or 3 GIFs. GIFs are like the code samples that you can embed in a Medium article. For those who aren't parsing my techno babble. So now we have lives. Guess I should just like lose one so we can. Yep, there you go. It works. You can lose a life. That is all working as intended, which it should, since I just copy pasted all the code. So copy paste for the win. Unless you copy paste something that's not good. This is something I think I didn't do very much before, which was like run it and show what it looked like between things. But then again, I don't feel like we really had all that much to look at before. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's see, lives handling code. Yeah, they had a whole. I love the names of their methods. It's like a 3-year-old name their methods. Ball, leaf, screen. Technically, yes, okay, it's accurate, but I don't. It's not that I expect prepositions or anything, but I don't know. I don't know why I'm even reading this that much because yeah, this is the phaser 2 code anyway. I went through it originally, and that's where like I was myself having to convert stuff. So we'll flip back to my article because the next part that's in my article and like everything is something that's not in the original tutorial. So we're just going to add difficulty essentially. So we're going to add a couple variables in the constructor in order to do what we're adding now is adding the ability to clear all the bricks, and then each time you clear the bricks, the difficulty will increase, but on top of that, along with that, the bricks will be worth more points. So the game basically should intensify with each time that you clear it. Okay, so it's one way of making things interesting, I guess. It's just as I was going through it, I just wanted to do something more with it. Even though I was only adapting the tutorial, I just couldn't help myself. I'm always doing extra. So now we're going to make a cleared label. And I'm just going to copy paste this stuff in here because yeah, I don't really feel the need to type all this. I'm not going to do a whole ton of typing. Maybe I should to an extent, but here, this one is working like the score label. So add clear is a method on here that will add one clear. So this is different from score, where score is more open-ended. Score, you just add a certain number of points. So this gives us the ability to, as we're doing, make bricks work more or whatever. It's flexible. But for both lives and clears, I decided only want to change it by a value of 1 at any given time. In this case, we're incrementing it. With lives, we're making it less, decrementing it. So that pretty much is all that. Not too much to go through. Now we'll look at the next block here. So the next thing we're going to do is basically mount the label, make our create label method, and add it to a property on the scene. So we'll start off by importing cleared label. Okay. And we'll want to make a property on scene object. So this is basically classes are pretty similar to function constructors. Basically what they do is they produce an object that has all these properties. This what's happening in the constructors. It's adding these properties to the object that is the scene, and the scene is inheriting all of the properties and methods that phaser scene has, and then extending with whatever else we put on it. So let's see. Now I think we'll want to create the cleared label. So I think I'll have to double check. Well, first of all, I'm just going to copy the style because the style is going to be the same for all of them. That was just a little trial and error. One thing I could not find any documentation on is which fonts come with Phaser. It might be, yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah, I couldn't find a definitive source that would say which fonts are come with Phaser. It might be based on what browser you're using and what fonts are available in that. Okay, and then we, by using this add existing, we're putting it into the Phaser system, the arena, whatever. I don't know exactly what to call that. I almost want to say like runtime or something. So now we go back into the create method. I'm going to have to copy the values for the positioning. We go through over here, let's see, 248. Okay. That should do it for that. Now let's see. I don't think I finally kind of started figuring out how to actually do this, so I didn't put all the code in one block. Just created it, and now we have to modify how the ball speed is set, modify the scoring, and increment the clears when all the bricks have been destroyed. So let's see. So I think at the moment, to figure out where I'm setting the velocity and take that out, but let's start by making the set ball velocity method, and I'll try to explain what's going on with that. Oh, I see. So I already have the method. I just have to modify it. So since I copied the whole thing, I'll just overwrite it. So we're creating a multiplier that's equal to the number of times. Well, first, the multiplier is equal to the result of a ternary statement. If the times cleared is greater than 0, then we want the basically the speed multiplier to the power of the times cleared. And if it is not greater than 1, so if the game hasn't been cleared, then the multiplier is 1, which means multiplying by the multiplier will not affect the speed. And the speed multiplier is something, I think it's like 1.08 or something. Yeah, 1.08. So it will always produce a value greater than 1 when being raised to the power of the number of times cleared. So it gives it a very slow starting exponential gain. That's the goal there. Okay, so now we want to set the ball velocity in the create method. Okay, it's already there. So I may have already taken it out of the create ball method. Yeah, okay, good. Maybe I never put it there. I don't know. Let's see, create ball. Oh, right, yeah, I already, so we do need to set the max velocity of the ball in create ball. So that'll keep the ball from going too fast. Did I not copy some of these. Max velocity. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to change that. Okay, let me go back and see if I forgot to hmm. I think I may have forgotten to put the max ball velocity very constant or whatever into the, it's not a constant, it should be, but all right, so that I'm gonna have to put that in the gist later. Ah boy. All right, let me copy that into my project so it won't be messed up anymore. Did I mention I did this all in one day? So yeah, it got a little crazy, I guess. Okay, we're back to just having the one permanent error that never goes away. Okay, let's go back to where we were. I'm gonna check on the, yeah, I didn't figure anybody was in there. Time, great. So that's the clear label. We've already imported it. So in ball hit brick, we're gonna change how we add points. Instead of adding 50 points every time, we're gonna use the multiplier. So we'll overwrite this line of code. And this multiplier is pretty similar. It's just basically, it's either 1 if times cleared is equal to 0. Otherwise it is clear multiplier. Oh, so this one is not exponential. It's linear. So it's every time that you clear the game, you the point value is doubled from 4, basically. Or it's 2 times the number of times you've cleared it. So it's not doubled, but if you cleared it once, then points are worth double. If you cleared it twice, then points are worth 4 times. 3 times, points are worth 6 times what they were. And then the point value is determined over here. I don't know why it's written the way it is. And then if there are no more active bricks, let's go ahead and, well, I'll put this code in. We then call the reset level method, which we'll add in here in a second. So instead of reloading the page every time we okay, and the reset level basically is just going to respawn all the bricks here. So this is a fair amount of code. I'll try to go through and explain what's happening here, although the comments are doing some of that. So we pause the physics. This is just to avoid accidental collisions, like when the bricks are all reset, you've already hit one and got credit for it. Then we add a clear to the clear label. We increase the times cleared, so those are just separate values. The difference between the score and the lives is we're not using those values for any calculations outside of just displaying it. In the case of times cleared, we are using it for other calculations to determine to increase the speed of the ball and increase the value of points. So, and because of that, we can't just add a clear in the label. We also have to increment the value and keep track of the value in the actual scene itself. That's why that's a little different. And then we call reset that ball paddle position, which we've used before. And then we utilize a delay, and it's the death delay plus a little. That way, so the first thing that's going to happen, I forget what exactly it was, but it's required. It has to be longer than the death delay, basically. Otherwise, you get sequencing issues. Another bug. I have one bug in here. I think it has to do with the ball or paddle offsets, but I'm not sure. That was something that wasn't 100% clear because I was looking at phaser 2 stuff and this is phaser 3. So let's see. Then we set the ball velocity again, which is gonna since we'll have cleared it, then the ball will be going faster, and then after a delay, the game resumes. So that's actually, I think, why this is a little more delayed, because you don't want to resume the game before that. So we'll go ahead and put in the repopulate bricks method, which just goes through all the bricks using this bricks children iterate method. Then we go through each child, activate enable body. I forget what the arguments do. That's one thing about phaser. There's all these methods that have like a ton of arguments that can be kind of confusing. And then we technically don't need clear alpha yet. That's something that's there for when we deal with tweens, but that'll be pretty much the next step. So we'll be there shortly. Okay, so right, we set the maximum velocity of the ball, pause the physics, increment the number of clears, make the label change, call repopulate bricks, all of this. Oh, okay, so now we're going to do the ball animation. Let me check if we have the... Okay, yeah, we got all the assets here. Making sure. So now we're going to import the asset for the ball animation. And this, I mean, it was kind of like, okay, whatever. It does a thing. I don't know what else to say really about using this sprite sheet, because yeah. Let's see. So one difference, if we look at the step in the MDN tutorial, like they have these two arguments, 20 and 20. I don't think that's exactly... All right, so we use an object with frame height, frame width, rather than just two arguments with numbers. So there we have the we've imported the sprite sheet, and then let's see. I don't think the code for the ball is going to change. Let me take a look at it. Create ball. But it will take, we'll add an animation. Right, we're already adding a sprite. So we'll copy this code. These are the animation frames they wanted us to use, and they just gave it as a sequence. So what we have to do is map them into objects where the frame is equal to the number in the array, and the key is equal to the ball key, because that's what the frames in this anim's create is expecting. Otherwise, you would have to write it out as a long thing. Like you'd have to write out each thing, which would be kind of annoying. Why does it keep not copying the first letter? Wait, why? Ugh. Oh, somehow I didn't copy it all. I don't. Apparently, I can't copy paste today. All right, great. Yeah, so then this will create the wobble animation, and then I think from there all we have to do is set it to wait, I didn't. Okay, I missed something in this one too. I gotta go through a couple of different gists and fix them. Okay, let's find ball hit brick, and I'll put this right above it. Okay. So what we need to do is go to the ball. Wait, I do already have a ball hit paddle method, which is why I probably didn't add anything about that and why I did not. Okay, let me just copy the line then. I forgot we already did a ball hit paddle method because we did the sound first. Got it. Still gonna cut this and put it a little up further, like going over all this stuff about how to organize this a bit. There's just too many methods in here that don't really. This I don't know. This modular design is a little better than having it all in one HTML thing, but it's still all over the place to me. Okay, so that should take care of that. Let's save the code and check if that's working. Let's see. So I didn't even say anything about this. So we're playing the wobble animation when the ball hits the paddle. There. You can kind of see it. It's not the most obvious. I don't know how I feel about that animation. I mean, I guess a ball could wobble. That's a little it's a little exaggerated, kind of. Did we test out the clear functionality? I feel like we didn't. So I guess I'll do that now, so that it's not to make sure that it's not crazily wrong. Okay, good. So doth work. Verily, now I have to stop playing. Always hard to stop playing once the ball is in motion. I cannot lose. I can't just lose. I can't just let this streak go. I think that's something like saying that you've done something right. I think I've gotten up to 10,000 points before. It's a little tough when that ball gets faster. I did create the ability for the ball to go quite a lot faster than the paddle. The paddle never gets faster, so that's a key to the difficulty ramp up. And a big portion of winning or failing is accurately predicting whether the ball is going to bounce off the edge of a brick or not. And I am still playing. I was like realizing, yep, I'm still playing. Yep. There it goes. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, so the animation is in there. Then we do the tween. So the tween is going to make the brick vanish. That's a little tricky because when it does vanish, then you get the issue that if you don't handle things right, it can get hit again while it's vanishing. And it also creates issues for respawning the brick because you have to you have to clear the alpha on it so it's no longer invisible. Okay, so now we add this tween to the ball hit brick method. Oh, we already put in the clear alpha. I'm remembering that now. So that'll make it fade out. I guess we can go ahead and save that. So this tween is kind of a whole. Wait, how come you? Well, I don't know. We don't do anything with the tween variable, so I don't know why we need that. But yeah, the target is the brick, and then alpha. You go from one value to another. Ease, I presume there's different eases you can do, like ease in, ease out. The duration we set equal to the brick vanish delay that we just put in earlier. Then there's some other. So on complete, we use an anonymous function to disable both the visibility and the physics. For the beginning, we just disable the physics and leave the visibility normal. That way it can fade out. So we'll go ahead and see that in motion. That is not working. Let me reset it. Maybe I didn't save it though. I don't know. Let me double check the code on my other version. Like that's odd because not the result that I expected. That is basically verbatim. Let me double check the. Oh, double check the original. See if I got missed something. That's just completely different. Well, I don't know. I don't have the wherewithal to analyze that at the moment. Don't know why that did not work. how I'm in the wrong. Anyway, I'm going to go on to the next step. I don't know why that did not work. Okay, so we're going to start adding a start button. So we'll start by adding playing state. Okay. I really gotta fix. I have to remember which I needed to fix, like a couple of different just things. So let's see. All right, so we're not going to set the ball velocity in the create method anymore. Take that out. And then we'll replace the code in the update method that sets the velocity with this block. It only sets the velocity if that's the velocity of the paddle. So it'll only set the velocity if the if playing is true. And then we need to add a stop ball velocity method. We'll put that right by the set ball velocity. This just stops the ball. It'll be used by some other things. So now we're going to make the start button. And I think we go to the, we need to add a property on the scene object in the constructor here. Then I think we need to preload the asset. I might copy this. I don't know why it's a sprite sheet. I missed if they did go through in the original MDN tutorial on where, how, or why they wanted that to be animated. There are frames within it, but yeah, I did not catch it. So this is very imperfect tutorial and article and all of these things. I don't know how I'm going to remember. I think it was what in maybe one just in the fourth one in the fifth. It was messed up. So now in the create, okay, so I gotta go back and get this again because I accidentally pasted that in the create method and not the preload method. There we go. Only mildly painful. Okay, start button. And the remaining code will be pretty simple. All we have to do is set up a listener, set up a event that is triggered by the start button. First, we'll make a property for the enter key and we'll bind it so we can use it in the update method to trigger the start game method as a supplement to clicking on the start button. And we'll also make it so you could press the space button to do that as well. I wanted to do that to give an alternative, since if you're playing with the keyboard, it's kind of like awkward to click a button and then try to like get back to where you can control the game. Let me pay attention to what I'm doing. So we're in the create method. We're gonna make this so we're found the pointer down event on the start button to the start game method. And I think we're gonna add the code in the update method. Yep, so this is if the space bar, which is already given to us with the cursors, which is from the phaser create cursor keys method that we did quite a while back, or the enter key, if either of those are pressed while the game is not in while playing is false, then we'll also trigger start game. And then we'll just throw in the start game method right here. Copy that. This is all pretty obvious. So main thing we do is in order to set the start button not active, we have to call set active false and set visible false. We couldn't use disable body on it. And then we set playing to true, set the score to 0, which is not going to be as much of an issue the first time, but if you play through, lose, and then you want to start again, then this will ensure that things start off correct. Set starting lives we set the lives in the label in the display to the starting lives value. Set times cleared to 0, set the cleared label, reset the ball in paddle position, and set the ball velocity. So that's everything that's happening when we're starting the game. And then we will basically, when the game is over, we'll just pop that button back up. So we won't have any more alerts being fired. And I pulled the classic move of pressing Control C when I meant to press Control V. Brilliant. Place that whole block of code, and then we'll put in the game over method here. Basically just makes playing false. Here, let me paste it in, then I'll talk about that. It's pretty simple. We bring the start button back up, stop the ball, and set playing to false. It occurs to me I should probably, because I did have another bug that was an issue, so let's just make another piece of code that's stop paddle velocity and okay. And then we'll add that to this game over method. Because I had some issues where the paddle would be moving when the game was over. So that might help that not happen. That's pretty much everything. Never did get the tween to work. Let's see what's going on here. 'tis not running at all. So we put in the button, added the enter key, loaded the button. Let's see, create start button. Let's see if we're having any issues with that. I was having all kinds of issues. Let's see if the console log tells me anything. Enter key. Oh, I forgot to copy that line of code. Let's see, it's up here. This one right here. So that should. My touchpad is creating difficulties for highlighting things. Okay. Get that into the create method, and that should solve this problem. Okay, so now space will start the game. Enter should start the game. Got that. I guess we should just die so we can test that the game over is working properly. That was a bug there. Because ball hit paddle was being triggered. Clearly is not right. But anyway, that's it. I really don't know why the tweens didn't work. The code seems to be the same as the code that I had before. I don't. Yeah, like I said, I don't really have the wherewithal right now to go through it, and stuff's been working a lot, and it's like live right now. I'm just sort of like, I don't even know. So, hey, we did most of the things. A couple things for me to fix in the article. Hey, there's the bug again. I think that ball is faster than it should be right now. There's always a bug though. It's hard to make something that does not bug. It's hard. Okay, so I guess that's going to conclude it. That's pretty much the thing. I didn't do the last step because it was like add randomness, and there already seems to be some. It doesn't do the same thing every time. So yeah, we could talk about extra features to make, but there's nobody here, so it doesn't seem to matter. All right, thanks for joining.